Hey guys, so this is another video on how to find slope, and we're going to focus on finding slope from an equation. And let's jump right to the slide. So finding slope from an equation, I know we're familiar with y equals mx plus b. I want to remind you that the slope is just the number, not the number and the x, but it's always right next to the x, okay? So what you're going to see in Khan Academy is that it's not going to be perfectly in this equation, so we're going to have to solve to find slope, all right? So I'm going to give you two examples you may see on Khan Academy. All right, so this is what happens when it's not in slope-intercept form, okay? So you may see an equation just like this. So I've posted this example a few times. So if we had 2x minus 3y equals 6, our goal is to always get y alone, okay? When we're trying to find slope, when we need it in the slope-intercept form. So the first thing you're going to do is the exciting move. So in order to move across the equal sign, remember that we have to use inverse operations. This is like a little wall. When we go across the equal sign, we have to change the sign. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Now, as you can see, back to in the beginning of our year, 6 and a negative 2x are not common terms. They're not like. So you cannot combine them, okay? So I'm going to go down to here. You can see we're left with negative 2x plus 6. All right. Now, y we have to get just solely alone. So we're going to do the great divide. So we're going to divide everything by negative 3 because we want our equation to be balanced. So we have to divide this by negative 3 and this by negative 3. Okay. And now we are in slope-intercept form. So negative 2 divided by negative 3 gives you 2 over 3 because a negative over a negative gives you a positive. And 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. Now the slope, if they're asking just for the slope, it's the number right next to the x, which is 2 over 3. Okay? So you will see questions like this, and it's the same method. You're going to subtract the x or add the x to both sides, and then you're going to want to divide everything on either side. Okay? Now you may also see questions that are a little bit more difficult. All right? So we've handled these before, but the only difference is you see, we have two variables here. We want to get the y alone, all right? So the first thing you want to do is distribute. So I'm going to take my 4. I'm going to do 4 times y, which is 4y, and 4 times 2, which is 8. And I'm going to bring down my negative 10, and I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to go to the other side of my equal sign, and I'm going to distribute what's right next to the parentheses. And I'm going to do 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay? Now we're going to check both sides to see what needs to be simplified. So I'm going to keep my wall up on my equal sign, and I'm going to look just here. And I see two numbers I could combine. So we're going to combine like terms. So there's nothing really for my 4y, so I'm going to just bring him down. And I'm going to do 8 minus 10, which is a negative 2. And I'm going to look on the right side of my equation, and I don't see anything that I can combine because 2x and 8 are not like terms. So I'm just going to bring those down. All right. Now we're pretty much on like a double step equation because we want to just get the y alone. So what you're going to want to do is look to see if you can add or subtract anything to get the y alone. So if I'm going to go across the equal sign, I'm going to, if this is a negative 2, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to take this 2, I'm going to add it to the other side. 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay? So let's go down to this step right here. Now I'm only left with 4y equals 2x plus 10. And I'm going to want to get this y alone. So you're going to want to divide or multiply to get the y alone. Here we have to divide because this is attached by multiplication. So let's divide by 4. And I'm going to end up with this here. So 2 over 4 is 1/2. And 10 divided by 4 reduced down is 5 over 2. So now when the question is asking for slope, the slope is the number that's right next to the x, which is a fraction here, which is 1/2.